traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to take a look at the importance of the daily time frame, not only to rebuilding our watch list as we go through this week that is just absolutely peppered with FOMC events and members speaking, but also again in the days following the slight but clear shift in monetary policy that the Fed is going to pursue if GDP, jobs, inflation, so forth allows them to. Again, remember, we're talking about a time horizon that takes us to 2023. So it doesn't surprise me that we're sort of contained in this area on the S&P within. You can take a look here. We've got one resistance here by way of this Darvis. We've got another resistance layer here by way of this more recent Darvis, and that puts this area in here as the big obstacle to the upside for traders. And the truth of the matter is the market went ahead and sort of zeroed out the Friday sell-off. So we're right back to what I call tie ball game, right? How many of you play sports and all of a sudden you tie the game up and your coach will say 0-0. In other words, to put you in the right mind frame of, hey, it's a tie ball game here. And so you kind of imagine that you don't have the pressure on you, right? It takes a lot of the pressure off. Well, we have a tie ball game now. It's a 0-0 game. And now the market gets to reconsider what it wants to do going forward. Does it have the ability to keep moving higher? I'm going to say that the path of least resistance is still very much higher, but the way that we punch up the new highs is likely going to be very erratic. And that's what the JT Multi says about the current trend. We have yet to go back to double green on the JT Multi. And the reason for that could be everything from just financials struggling to regain what they lost on Friday, healthcare struggling in much of the way the broader average is to move back up higher to higher highs. And then finally, XLK. Well, XLK seems to be doing quite all right. And that takes us over to the NASDAQ. This is really the difference between what's happening and where the strength is in this market. The NAS has two things going for it that the ES doesn't have. XLK is strong. XLC is strong, and even Amazon, and Tesla, which are weighted in the XLY, is actually trying to move higher, trying to break out. So the laggard sector in the S&P is financials. The laggard sector in tech is consumer discretionary. The NASDAQ has a double green structure, which tells me that this is more bullish with an easier path to the upside, more bullishness than the S&P. Double green, green grab candles, and very steady, even on the Federal Reserve volatility, very steady above the wave. So tech is definitely coming back. Now, having this index discussion covered, well, the next thing we can then go to is, well, once I have the index covered, now I can get down to the sector level. And once I get that covered, now I can get down to the, you guessed it, stock level. And it all starts with the index. And then we get to the sector, then we get to the stock. Right now, I would say the path of least resistance for futures traders, ETF traders, and stock traders alike are going to be in tech. Now, we can do the same thing with my second favorite narrative, and that's surrounding crude oil. And what crude oil is in a very similar position to the NASDAQ. These are two of the corners of the market that I like very much. In fact, we touched on these using the FinViz relative outperforming. This is me taking it now to the chart. In the premium video, we're going to dive a little bit more into specifics about crude, RBOB, natural gas, and energy stocks, and why that's my second favorite, or even just tied with the NAS, a place that I want to get busy looking for pullback buys. Okay. In the meanwhile, looking at some of these longer term setups, we're also going to be shortening the time frames. While the market's confused and really most of the sectors, we can shorten the time frame. And shortening the time frame means we can look at opportunities intraday in those sectors like financials or like XLY that don't quite have the daily structure but might have intraday structure. And in order to do that, we have to have a fluent and fluid approach that allows us to look at index sector stock, but on a short-term time frame. And we're going to be talking about that specifically. How do I day trade ETF options? How do I even trade the underlying stock if I'd like to? How do we understand the alternatives to the index futures contracts with their ETF alternatives? We'll be doing that tonight at 8 p.m. You can sign up over at simplertrading.com/spot. If you're catching this after the webinar has gone live, no worries. You can still register and catch the replay when we post it. And if you're ready to go ahead and jump in, join me for the class. We have that coming up this Saturday, June 26th, 1 p.m. You can check that out at simplertrading.com/climb. All right, gang, have a great one. I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.